No trading, no training combat, and yeah, dying is involved. Welcome to Let's Build a Level 3 Skiller Ironman. Hello, and welcome back to the Level 3 Ironman Skiller Progress Series. In the last episode, we laid some of the most important groundwork for this account by actually getting Poison Dynamite unlocked. Unfortunately, due to the fact that it's heavily time-gated by belladonna growing, we weren't able to experiment with it too much, but as you'll see later in this episode, we get a chance to use it a little bit more, and that's pretty exciting. I feel like from this point on, we shouldn't have a single episode of the series without actually just blowing something up, and that's pretty cool. But for now, I'm stuck in this gameplay loop of needing food for pickpocketing, and of course I've been doing that at the Tempros. Tempros is actually really fun, and it's actually really good food and experience, so I highly recommend doing it from pretty much the start of fishing if you haven't yet. It does have a unique problem for me though, however, because as you get a higher fishing level, the quality of fish you get goes up, but the quantity actually goes down. Because I'm capped at 10 HP, a salmon is as good for me as a shark, so I'd rather have a lot more salmon than a certain number of sharks. But as my fishing level continues to increase, unfortunately I'm going to get less and less of a quantity of fish, even though it's higher quality. So at some point Tempros is not going to be the best source of food for me anymore, but for now I still get a lot of salmon and tuna and lower quality fish in higher quantities. Of course, I am going to be doing Tempros on and off as much as I can until I get that Dragon Harpoon anyway, which is a 1 in 8,000 drop per reward permit, so I have a lot more work to do here, but it's good to know that I can at least get some decent food for the time being. So I went ahead and saved up 100 reward permits and cashed them in at the reward pool. Got some really decent food, the caskets had some rune items in them, which is much needed for money, and then we get slapped with the pet. This is actually really cool. I wasn't expecting to get a pet so early on in the account, let alone one like Tempros, which is pretty rare at a 1 in 8,000 like the Dragon Harpoon. The only bad thing about getting the pet this early is I'm still raising cats, so I can't even really flex having it, unfortunately, because I have to have cats out following me instead. But when we're done raising cats in the future, it'll be awesome to have this pet, and of course it's really nice to know that I won't have to come back for it in the future if I ever decide to do some pet hunting on this account. After cashing in those Tempros rewards, I went ahead and completed a beginner clue, which had one of the most trash rewards I've gotten yet, just a few water runes, and then I attempted a medium clue that I got from one of the caskets at Tempros. This clue I got a couple steps done on, but unfortunately I got a desert mining camp step, and the desert mining camp is a bit of a tricky one, because I can technically access this step, but I have to use poison dynamites to complete the quest up until the point where I can get in, so I don't want to actually do that just yet. So I did drop this clue for now, but at some point in the future when I get this step, I'll go ahead and try to get access to the desert mining camp so that we can complete it. After unfortunately having to drop that medium clue, I went ahead and headed to the Ardoyne West General Store, where I've been selling all of my rune items and probably will for the majority of this account. It's such a great store because it buys things for such a higher value than a normal general store does, so it's a great place to go ahead and dump off a bunch of random stuff like this. I did get a decent amount of money from this Tempros grind, which is amazing because I was actually pretty broke. The income from the cats is really slow and it was just enough to keep me afloat, but now I have a 200k cash stack that should last me for quite a while. And then of course, after completing any Tempros grind, you have to go cook all the food, which got me up to a healthy 55 cooking, which is pretty great. I also now had plenty more food to do some more pickpocketing, so you'll see that periodically through the episode that we return to the Master Farmers to get a few more belladonna seeds. And that's no exception here, where I'm pickpocketing and getting belladonna seeds, and was working my way up to 60 thieving. I got a pretty well-warranted warning about actually being careful while pickpocketing the Master Farmer, because it's actually pretty risky. So the Master Farmer can hit 3s when I fail a pickpocket, and I've only got 10 HP, so if I fail 4 times in a row without eating, I will die. In addition to that, to get the most out of my food, I'm constantly going down to 1 hit before death, so that I can heal up all the way with 1 bite of salmon or whatever it is I'm eating. So 1 lapse of judgment or zoning out for a little bit could result in my death while I'm here. But thankfully, so far so good, it hasn't been an issue. I will heed that warning very well though, I will be careful, and I will not die to a Master Farmer. Wink wink. So I actually went ahead and started pickpocketing the Master Farmers in the Farming Guild instead of in the Hosidius house where I was before, and that's because getting to the Farming Guild has been such a problem. The only route I have to the Farming Guild is basically to run all the way from Hosidius, which is a 7-minute or 8-minute trip, and that's just insane. So it benefits me a lot to actually stay here as long as possible in order to get as many seed packs as I can, and thankfully I can do my pickpocketing here, so it's not too big of a waste to stay. Of course, those seed packs have the 1 in 60 shot on an easy seed roll to give me some belladonna seeds, so I'm hoping that'll supplement the Master Farmer pickpocketing by quite a bit. And so far so good. I've been able to keep up my belladonna stock, even though I've been growing them as often as I can. So after I got that 60 thieving, I did take a little bit of a break, and I decided to use some of my poison dynamite to kill a Jogger in Karamja. And this might seem pretty random, like why am I killing a Jogger instead of actually trying to kill the bear and the rat for Druidic Ritual? And that's actually because you need to kill a Jogger on Karamja to complete the Karamja Easy Diary. The Karamja Easy Diary is actually kind of a standout diary compared to the other ones, as it doesn't actually have any level requirement to use the reward experience lamp that you get from it. And the actual tasks for doing the Karamja Easy Diary are super straightforward and easy. This is the only difficult one, is killing the Jogger right here. So I went down to Karamja with my poison dynamite, and this time I actually tried to wield a magic staff to see if I could roll magic accuracy against the Jogger, which is significantly more accurate than my best ranged accuracy, but I didn't equip any runes or autocast any spells, and I think that the game took that as though I was using the crush style of the staff on the Jogger, so my accuracy was really bad, and I only hit twice with the poison dynamite I brought, and unfortunately we didn't get a poison. But that's okay, there's always another time to try, and we'll try this again in the future to see if we can get that easy experience lamp from Karamja. Of course, I've been keeping up with my daily morning farming runs throughout this entire process, and I've been doing the fruit trees and allotments, which is not too fast of experience, but it's definitely adding up. And this is no exception, where I hit 62 farming, which is pretty nice to have. So after completing this farming trip, I decided to go back to the farming guild, of course, complete some more contracts, pickpocket some more master farmers, and well, what basically happened was I had just sat down to settle into a session of pickpocketing the Master Farmer, and right at the beginning of the session I got sent a video by someone, so I watched the video, not paying attention to what my HP was at the time I watched the video, and then when I turned back to the screen I clicked the Master Farmer without paying attention to my HP, unfortunately failed the pickpocket, and I died. It's really unfortunate to go out this way. I was really hoping to go out to one of the challenges down the road, such as completing a quest or killing a monster or something like that. This is pretty anticlimactic, but I'm also not too distraught about it. The hardcore Ironman was never really the focus of the account. It really was just a fun side project, and I was taking things as carefully as I could, but unfortunately, one lapse of judgment while pickpocketing, and that's the end of that. We will, of course, be continuing the series beyond this. There's a lot I still want to do and showcase on this account, but we're just going to be a normal Ironman from now. So I didn't let that get me down too much. I went ahead and saved up 6 seed packs here and opened them all in hopes of getting some belladonna seeds. And this is when I actually realized that I don't think belladonna seeds are as common as I thought from seed packs. You get a number of easy rolls per seed pack depending on the level of contract that you got, but it's actually not that many, and the 1 in 60 rate makes it pretty rare for belladonnas, unfortunately. So I'm going to keep doing these as often as I can, but I don't think I'm going to be able to rely on these as my only source of belladonna, which is what I was kind of hoping for. We will unfortunately have to continue pickpocketing the Master Farmer, but here we are hitting a very nice milestone, and that's 64 thieving. 64 thieving actually unlocks stone chests, which is incredible for this account. If you weren't aware, stone chests are the only way that's non-combat related to get a Xerax talisman on your account. And so without hesitation, I immediately ran to the stone chest and began unlocking them for hopes of getting this talisman. The talisman is going to be a huge unlock for the account that will provide so much more mobility around Zaya, and I definitely don't want to hesitate getting it. The stone chest itself doesn't really provide any other useful items for me other than a few gems and seeds, nothing really huge. I can't really use the bolt tips, and while I could craft and sell the Xerax fabric, I wasn't really doing that as it's just a small amount of experience that you get. I just focused on picklocking the chest as much as possible in order to get that Xerax talisman. Along the way, I got rewarded with a nice little genie lamp, which gave us 19 Slayer, which is pretty nice, on our way up to that 30, which will be really nice as we can start completing the easy diaries that we have access to. And then about 150 picklocks in, we get the Xerax talisman, which is super nice. It is a bit unfortunate that we did get it early though, because you also get Lizardman fangs from picklocking the chest, and the drier I would have went on the talisman, the more I would have gotten in terms of actual fangs that are used as charges for the talisman. So because we got it early, I only had about 60 fangs, so it only has about 60 charges. That means that we'll have to be returning here before long to get some more charges. The really nice thing though is future talismans can be broken down into 100 additional lizard fangs. So if we come back and get a couple more talismans, we should be able to charge up our talisman and be able to get around Zaya for quite a while without having to worry about getting some more after that. The last thing I did at the stone chest is I stayed for 65 thieving. It's actually really good experience here. It's something around like 70 or 80,000 experience per hour, even at my low level, which is pretty nice. So I definitely won't mind coming back here in the future to get some more charges, as the experience will add up. So just to showcase how good the Xerix is for the account, this is me running from the Inferno teleport spot, which is in Lovakenge, all the way to the Farming Guild. This is actually literally twice as fast as my previous best teleport location, which was the Tithe Farm, in order to get to the Farming Guild. So this is going to save me literal hours over the course of this account. It is unfortunately my best transportation to the Farming Guild until I actually get a farming cape though, so the next upgrade is a long ways away, but even then I'm still entirely grateful to have the Xerix Talisman. Continuing the gameplay loop that I'm stuck in, building up those Belladonna seeds, doing some more pickpocketing of the Master Farmer, went ahead and got 67 thieving, and unfortunately I'm running pretty low on food again, so it'll be back to Tempros in a little bit for sure. Before that, another farm run, another farming level. This is 63 farming, and that's actually the level actually required for the Belladonna, so now I don't need to boost anymore to plant them, which is super nice. Of course, every farming level you get increases the yield of the actual Belladonna plant too, so I'll be training my farming as much as I possibly can after this point to help increase that yield. Even a couple more Belladonna per harvest could equal many more poison dynamite over the course of several days. Back to the Master Farmers, back for another thieving level. That's 68 thieving. It's actually pretty decent experience here now that I'm not failing as often anymore, and the seeds are really piling up in the bank, which is nice. A quick diversion to do some more AFK woodcutting. Here I am chopping some oaks because I want to use them for construction down the road, and we went ahead and got the 60 woodcutting milestone, which is one of the bigger woodcutting milestones I'll have on this account. It unlocks so much for woodcutting, it's actually not even funny. So not only do I unlock use, I also unlock the woodcutting guild, and the woodcutting guild is amazing because it is one of the best places in the game to actually chop wood, as you get a +7 invisible woodcutting boost, but it also is the only place in the game that sells rune axes. So I can finally upgrade my steel axe to a rune axe, which is really nice. And then with those U-logs that I unlocked, I actually can unlock another route of the balloon system, which is the Castle Wars location. So my new AFK woodcutting spot will of course be the woodcutting guild. I'm going to be doing a lot of willows and maple trees still for fletching before I do a significant number of U's, but I did go ahead and AFK a couple hundred U logs just so I have them for the balloon method. While I was AFKing those logs, I did go ahead and get a beginner clue, an easy clue, and a medium clue, all of which were completable. I unfortunately didn't get much from the clues, but I did get a master scroll book, which is really nice. I'll be able to put any teleport scrolls that I get from clues into it in the future, and those teleport scrolls will be extremely valuable as they provide a really good way to get around the game to a lot of locations that are hard for me to get to, but they will be pretty rare, so I will have to pretty much save them for when I really need them. Alright, with all that out of the way, I actually went ahead and returned to the Pothole Dungeon on Karamja to have round 2 with the Jogers. This time I went ahead and brought my ranged gear and my lizard kickers to go ahead and try to get the poison dynamite to proc on it and get a poison. And it paid off. I actually was able to poison the Joker with just 2 dynamite, which is incredibly lucky and also really nice because it saves a lot of dynamite for future things I want to do. So one thing I actually did is I went on Twitter and I asked Mod Ash to see if the lizard kicker or any really stat boost helps the accuracy of the dynamite at all, just to get a confirmation on that, because I wasn't sure if it was worth bringing the lizard kickers and I wanted to see for sure. The wiki didn't say anything about it in specific either, and yeah, actually Mod Ash was able to confirm that your stat level is taken into consideration when calculating the accuracy of the poison dynamite. So if you're using poison dynamite, it's definitely worth using the best stat boosting item that you have access to in order to boost that skill level. With the lizard kicker and the accuracy boosting items that I have on, I had about a 45% accuracy against the Jogers, which is not too bad at all. And so as the poison ticked the Joker down, we were able to get the kill for the Karamja Easy Diary. I also need these Joker bones for a future attempt to complete Taiboy Wanai Trio quest, which is something I'll definitely want to do. After completing the rest of the tasks for the Karamja Easy Diary, all of which are pretty straightforward, and I had the skill levels for already, we get the lamp, and we throw it directly on Slayer, which is another 1000 experience, which is incredibly nice, which puts us up to 21 Slayer already. Any genies and surprise exams we get in the future will be bolstered even more by getting the Slayer up this early. I was feeling pretty bold, and with the success of killing the Joker, I had a lot of poison dynamite left in the bank. So I went ahead and tried to complete Druidic Ritual again by killing the bear and the rat. And what I actually learned from my last attempt was there are actually bear cubs in Land's End that also drop the bear meat but have lower defense than their adult counterparts. So I went to Land's End to actually try to kill the bear cubs. Unfortunately, I got pretty unlucky on this one. I hit the bear many times, but I didn't get a poison. Even in my entire first inventory of poison dynamite, I had to actually go get some more. But thankfully, after about 15 poison dynamite, I did get the poison off on the bear cub. It died and I got its meat, which is incredible. And then of course we also had to kill the rat, and thankfully the rat was poisoned almost immediately. It only took a couple of dynamite to kill, and we got the rat meat for the quest. So with all of the meat I needed in tow, I was able to actually go and complete the Druidic Ritual quest, which unlocks the Herblore skill, and some very important future upgrades for the account. This makes me incredibly happy that we got a 0 experience Druidic Ritual Ironman completion, and all thanks to poison dynamite, which has been really fun to use so far. After that, we still had quite a bit of poison dynamite left in the bank, so I went ahead and finished off Biohazard by killing the level 13 mourner that you have to kill in the quest to get the Distillerator for Elena. I thought this might be a little complex because this NPC is a little weird. It's got some dialogue associated with it, and it's just a little strange how this whole fight takes place, but thankfully it was as normal as any other fight, and the poison took effect after just a couple poison dynamite, and we got the kill, got the key, got the Distillerator, and we took it back to Elena. Shortly after completing the Biohazard quest, which is the biggest blocking factor in terms of completing the Ardoin Easy Diary. But as I said before, we can't actually complete the Ardoin Easy Diary until we actually have a chance to use the Lamp on Slayer. So I still have to get that 30 Slayer, but I am dying to get that Ardoin Monastery teleport. So hopefully that comes sooner rather than later. And then the last thing that we're going to do in today's episode is actually complete the Dig Site quest. The Dig Site quest is also huge for the account because it's the first step to unlocking Fossil Island, which is going to be a huge unlock for the account as well. The Dig Site quest was actually only blocked by an Herblore. You need 10 Herblore for the quest, so I wasn't able to do this until I actually completed Druidic Ritual, got up to 10 Herblore using a few Guams I had been growing in my bank, and completed the quest. Nothing really notable about the Dig Site quest on a level 3. It's pretty straightforward, but super glad to have it done. I can't wait to get to Fossil Island. But unfortunately, that is all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you've been having as much fun with this series as I have. I literally can't put this account down. It's so much fun to play, and the progress has just been so addictive so far. Of course, however, we cannot leave without thanking the members who have joined the channel so far. Your support means so much to me, so thank you so much for joining. And of course, a double huge thank you to those supporters who have joined at that top tier: Peepo Time, Mad Hatter, and KittyLynne. Thanks again for watching, take care, and I'll see you in the next one.